It's time to get inside the Giants huddle.
Let's go, back to your huddle.
On Giants.com.
Tempo.
And the Giants mobile app.
Go.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Yeah.
Welcome to the newest edition of the Giants Huddle Podcast. John Schmelk with you. Today's guest, 3 interior offensive linemen for the New York Football Giants: Will Hernandez, Shane Lemieux, and center Nick Gates. As a reminder, you can find the Giants Huddle Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms, on the Giants mobile app, and at Giants.com/podcast. Remember, folks, tell all your friends that are Giant fans about it to subscribe. It's how you spread the word and get more listeners and subscribers to the podcast. All right, let's start with Will Hernandez, entering his 4th year as a member of the Giants, perhaps changing positions to right guard. Here's my chat with Will. And now we're joined by Giants offensive lineman. Maybe I should say right guard. We'll talk about it. That's Will Hernandez. Will, it's good to see you, man, first of all.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, so what has been this adjustment for you? You've been out there playing right guard a little bit more. I went back. I couldn't find the last time you played on the right side. So let's start there. Why don't you tell me, when's the last time you really played primarily on the right side?
Well, we would have to go back to high school. I played right guard in high school. I think it was about a couple years. But I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of an adjustment, but you know, it's all good. Keeps things interesting, and gives me a new skill set and you know, a new way to have fun with the sport.
Did you have any muscle memory left from high school, or was that all gone?
Yes, it's still there.
Was it really?
Still there, yes. You know, the transition wasn't as bad as I thought, and it wasn't as complicated. You know, first couple of days, once you get some reps in you, and you know, you kind of start, you know, getting out there and moving around, it kind of slowly starts. You know, you start adapting to it just like you would anything else. Interesting.
So what has it been like working with Rob Sale, your new offensive line coach, and how much is different than what you were being taught previously?
Oh, it's been great. You know, he's a great coach, you know, very attention to detail. You know, he makes sure you ask a lot of questions, make sure you have things down. And, you know, it just helps you out, especially, you know, when you like going over things over and over. Like I do, you know, he's great for that, and you know, he's always there to make sure you understand things. If not, he can give it to you 3 different ways so you can get it, and it's been great.
We had a chance to talk to Duke Merriweather, your off-season trainer. What has it been like working with him, and what are some of the things you guys are working on together to try to take that next step for you as an offensive lineman?
Yeah, Duke, you know, he's a great coach. You know, we had a lot of fun out there, got a lot of good work in. And you know, I learned a lot as well. You know, it was great working out there. You know, right now we're focusing on exactly that, the position change, and you know, making sure, 1, I move smoothly, 2, you know, I have, you know, all the plays down, you know, and 3, I can put them together pretty much. And yeah, that's exactly what we worked on this whole time. We've been cross training. And you know, I'm just focused on being the best football player at whatever position they put me.
So that switch, is it mostly just like a swapping the footwork in the hands? What hand comes first?
Yeah.
The foot, you know, staggering, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything's pretty much just backwards. You know, at the left guard position, you got your right foot up, left foot back. Right guard, it's left foot up, right foot back. And you know, the hand that goes down is different. And then pretty much what you do is you flip-flop the playbook in your head as well. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the 5 positions on the offensive line, they're all connected somehow.
Sure. So
you're able to connect the dots pretty easily. And, you know, that's another thing that, you know, the coaches do great, is they make sure everybody knows on the offensive line what the other guy is doing. So when there is a chance, or when there is an opportunity for a guy to move positions or has to move positions, it's not a completely new world to them, and they kind of know a little bit of how to start and how to play it.
How tough was it for you last year, coming back from all your health stuff that you dealt with mid-season and trying to rebound and get back onto the field? Because I don't think, you know, it affects so many people differently. Yeah. How tough was it for you to kind of get back to your normal self, to get yourself back out there on the field?
I mean, it was a crazy experience, you know, dealing with the COVID stuff and all that, but I think, you know, I think at the time I was just so focused on coming back and, you know, just playing and being, you know, being able to play back to the level before I got sick and all that. So I didn't really notice how bad it was until a few months later after I recovered.
It took that long, huh?
Well, I mean, I was good to play. I was
it
was
took
fine.
that long for you to realize
But yes,
how bad it was.
it took me a while to, like, after you really are, your body really does recuperate, and then you kind of think back on how you were before. Then you're like, oh yeah, I was pretty bad. But no, I mean, it was a crazy experience. But we pushed through it. We got through it, and I'm good as ever now.
And you're fully healthy now, good to go?
Oh yeah, been fully healthy for a long time now.
Awesome. Final question for you then. What are your major goals this year for Will Hernandez? You head into your 4th year now. This is a big year for you, position change. What are your big time goals?
My first goal is being able to help this team as much as I can. With the position change, playing. If I'm playing right guard, being the best right guard. And then after that is winning. Winning's always, why we're all here, why we all train, why we all do what we do. So I would definitely say, help the team out with being the best right guard possible, and then also winning.
Will, good stuff, man. We look forward to seeing you on the field.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Giants guard Will Hernandez. As a reminder, limited Giants season tickets are on sale now for the 2021 season. In addition to ticket savings, membership benefits include access to exclusive events, experiences, pre-sales, and more. You can lock in your seats starting at just $100. Call 888-NYG-1925 or visit Giants.com/tickets for more information. All right, now let's turn our attention to Shane Lemieux, a rookie last year out of Oregon, a 5th-round pick, played left guard, will once again compete for a starting guard spot this year. Now we're joined by second-year Giants offensive lineman Shane Lemieux. Shane, you basically became the primary starter for more than the second half of the year. Talk a little bit about some of the things you think you learned being able to get that valuable on-field experience as a rookie.
Yeah, anytime you can get in-game experience, it's extremely valuable. Just learning the speed of the game, because it's a lot different than practice. And we got to play, in important December football games where it meant a lot. So obviously the speed of the game sped up. So just getting those in-game reps just made me feel more comfortable out there.
Anything catch you by surprise, for lack of a better way of asking the question, that maybe you were a little surprised by when you hit the field for the first time in a real regular season NFL game?
Yeah, I think every single rep you have to be at your best. It's unlike college where you could take a play off, I guess, so to speak. In the NFL, you have to be ready every single play because someone could take advantage of you. So yeah.
What are some of the things that you're really trying to work on heading into your second year?
Just being a better professional. Being a pro. I learned a lot from last year, and just taking the nutrition, the recovery, and the weight room, film study, all that to heart, and just put it out on the field.
I know in the NFL, a lot of times for guards, teams try to isolate you guys on these very athletic 3-technique defensive tackles, right? What are some of the things that you look at that are the keys for you to try to improve to become a better pass protector in those situations?
Yeah, I think it just all comes back to athleticism and the technique. We have a good coach with Rob Sale. He's teaching us a lot of good techniques, and just put that all on the field. You can do it in practice, and practice reps really turns into game execution. So just getting it right in practice so it shows up on tape on Sundays. What
has it been like for you? You've been down through 3 offensive line coaches, 2 last year. Now Rob Sale's coming in. What has that been like for you?
It's an adjustment, but at the same time, I feel like offensive line in general has the same kind of philosophy with coach to coach, and you block tight zone the same as tight zone, differentiating through coaches and stuff. So I think it's just more techniques and verbiage, just getting adjusted to it, and I think we adjust well. So yeah.
So actually, I want to dig into that a little bit. What does actually change? Is it things like hand placement? Is it how you guys move together on an outside zone, for example? What are actually some of the things that change from coach to coach?
It's mostly like combo blocks, so combination blocks, the different techniques of how you want to fit, and then it's verbiage. What you call these combination blocks, what you call your slide calls, what because a lot of the times the O-line coach brings it from where he was at previously.
Sure.
So that's the biggest adjustment, honestly. But it's verbiage.
How valuable has it been actually being able to get on the field with him and your whole offensive line group this offseason as opposed to last year when you guys were doing everything on a computer screen?
For sure. I think we had a head start and before training camp, because training camp last year, we had a new O-line coach, and plus I was new to the NFL. So everything was an extreme adjustment coming in, and I was, I felt like I was drinking water out of, a fire hose.
Yeah.
So it's good to be out here and learn the techniques and get a jump start before training camp.
How important is it for you, and maybe you've developed it already, to have that really good relationship with Andrew Thomas? So many of these teams, and Nick Gates for that matter, run these stunts and these twists, the TEs, the ETs, all that stuff, for you guys to be able to pass those off. It looked like you guys were really getting into a pretty good groove doing that at the end of last year.
Yeah, I think it's the more I know about Andrew, the more I pick Andrew's brain, and the more I know what he's thinking. You know, when stuff gets tough, I think it's better. You know, I think Andrew and I got some chemistry going. Nick and I got some chemistry going, and it's just getting reps together. Because you know you have to realize how deep Andrew sets, and you have to match that level. And then Nick has to know, you know, when he needs to help and when he doesn't. And so it's all about chemistry and just getting reps together.
Final question: what are your goals for this year?
Goals this year is just get better every single game.
Nice and simple. Shane, appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, take care.
That's Giants guard Shane Lemieux. Don't miss out on your chance to experience a premier hospitality experience watching Giant games and world-class concerts in 2021 as a Giants suite partner. Limited full-season locations are available, or place a deposit for individual games. Call 888-NYG-1925 or visit Giants.com/suites for more information. All right, let's finish it off with Nick Gates, Giants center. He started at center for the first time last year, first time ever playing the position. We talked about that and more with the Giants starting center in 2021.
All right, and now we're joined by Giants offensive lineman Nick Gates. Nick, last year, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but in some ways, did it feel like a rookie year for you since it was your first year at center? Or is that maybe a step too far?
I'd say at the center position, definitely. I mean, I was learning, a whole new position coming into the season, and the first 5 games, everybody watched. They weren't great on my part, but there was a little bit of learning curve in there for me. But once I, kind of figured it out and got comfortable, I was ready to roll.
All right, I want to get technical now. What were some of the things that you figured out that you think helped you kind of flip that switch and become better as the season went along?
I think the biggest thing is just becoming comfortable at center and just snapping the ball and making the calls, and just mentally. I think the biggest thing was mentally for me. Just making sure me and Danny are on the same page, and watching film every week and making sure you see the right things, and just seeing the different things that the defense throws at you and making the right call.
Yeah, I'm not sure if fans have quite the grasp at how important that is. What do those pre-snap calls impact when you're making Daniel's doing all the pointing, you guys are communicating? How does that impact what happens on the actual play?
It impacts the whole play. If you don't get everybody on the right guy, you're definitely not gonna be able to get the ball out. Or if you don't get everybody pointed the right way, you're not gonna be able to run the ball well.
Now, this is in terms of like either sliding protection left, sliding right, identifying the mic, all that stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah, left to right. I mean, you got a slide side that's 3 guys usually, and the man side, back side, and they need to know who's who and who the left side has and who the back has and everything.
Interesting. So, and then that'll impact too. So let's take the next step now. Once you get the pre-snap done and then snap comes, and let's say we saw this a lot early in the season, especially teams run all those stunts, right? The TT twist, the TE twist, and all that stuff. At what point does the communication kick in for you guys where you pass those off correctly and you have the right depth and all that sort of stuff?
A lot of that is just, pre-snap stuff. Just being able to see what alignment they're in and see which way the defense is rotated along with the safeties and stuff like that, and what kind of technique the defense linemen are using, and just little things like where their hands placed or which foot's up, which foot's back, and that's just a lot of things you see on film. So it's not so much like after the snap, it's just, you're just reacting at that point. You do a lot of your work up front and watching film and doing things like that.
Interesting. How much did it impact you then and the line when you guys had to have that mid-season coaching switch on the O-line? How much really changed for you guys, or did they really try to just make it a smooth transition given how important all this stuff is you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, no, it was definitely difficult. It's always definitely difficult to lose a coach that everybody loved in the room, and it is what it is. It just, stuff happens and you just got to roll with it, and it's a business, so it's just the way it is. And they didn't really try to do too much with this. Playbook stayed the same, calls stayed the same, and just a little technique, a little tuning here, a little tuning there that the new coach wanted to have.
Well, now the good news, you have Rob Sale now, but you get to work with him for a whole offseason.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, you're having spring practice. Who knew this was a thing, right? It's great.
I know, right? It's crazy. I'm happy to be back. We're a young offensive line, and we definitely need it. So,
what has it been like working with Coach Sale?
Oh, he's awesome. He's a good coach, good teacher. You learn something new with him every day, and he's just a good person too. So,
what are some of the things that he's focusing in on you guys so your young offensive line can grow together like you talked about and kind of take that next step?
Just trying to simplify and make everything easier, I'd say. Just with the calls and just teaching technique just simpler, and just making it easy, making sure we can just play faster, basically.
What types of things change? Is it in more individual technique, how you set your feet, where your hand placement is, or is it more how you guys are working together on outside zones and combo blocks, second level stuff?
Both. There's definitely things you need to critique and fine tune and technique wise, and that's what he's doing right now. I think that's the big thing right now, is just tuning your technique, and then once the season comes, I think it's more like, communication and calls and making sure everybody's on the same page when it comes to that stuff.
From the outside looking in, it looked like, from our perspective, that after that bye, the offensive line really seemed to lock in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the play really improved. Did you guys get that same feel being on the field together and watching? Because you guys go through this tape methodically after every game.
Oh, yeah.
Was it much better, you guys think, after the bye as well?
That 4-game win streak we went on last year, I feel like we really came together right there. I can't remember if that was before.
I think it was a couple game before, a couple after. Yeah.
We started to come together and everything just started to click. And once you start winning, it's contagious. And the building was fun to be around, and just everybody was having a good time. Winning ball games.
How much room still is there to grow for this young offensive line as you do more together? You might have Will now on your right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
He was on your left-hand side previously. Matt will have a chance to win that right tackle spot. So what's now the growing process? What's the ceiling for this group as you guys play more together?
I feel like there's no ceiling to us. We just got to, go out there and play the kind of football we know how to play. And, we're a young group. And if we could figure it all out together, we could be playing together for a long time. And I feel like that's the best for offensive line, is when you get together and you play for 3, 4, 5 years together, and you guys know what to do with each other without even communicating it.
And is that mostly individual improvement, or is that, I hate to use the word chemistry, it's so overblown, but just your ability to work together so you work properly as a 5-man unit to protect together?
Yeah, it's just knowing what to do on every play, and usually knowing what the person next to you is going to do, and it is chemistry. It's just working together basically. So,
and the only way you can get better at that by is doing it, right?
Yeah, it's all reps. That's a big thing about offensive line play. It's all reps, and just being able to just do it over and over and over and over again.
And finally, I'm sure you guys are excited. It looked like you kind of got the run blocking figured out a little bit as you moved along. Unfortunately, I think by that time, Saquon wasn't healthy anymore.
Yeah.
How excited are you to kind of keep this, more that gap scheme, downhill running style you adapted, and now insert Saquon Barkley?
Oh yeah, no, it's we definitely started to pick it up there towards the end, and we were a good rushing team there. I think we went on I think it was 6 or 7 games in a row. We rushed over 100 yards, which is just pretty good. But it'll be good to have Saquon back. He's just a freak athlete. It looks like the hole's blocked up, and he'll find a way and pop it out the backside or take it out the front side, and it just pops for 60, 70, 80-yard runs sometimes, and that's just what Saquon could do.
Let me ask you this too, because I think when I see it on tape, I'm curious if you guys see the impact on the field too. Once Daniel became that running threat, right? Mm-hmm. And teams had to keep that backside defender there so he doesn't keep it and go.
Yep.
Did you see that have a real impact on how defenses can load up and try to stop you guys in the run game?
Yeah, no, definitely. That definitely helps out with the cutbacks and things like that. It opens that hole up a little more. And instead of making it an arm tackle now, it's there's usually none of that there, and there's a guy that has to respect Daniel because he can pull the ball and run.
And run a long way, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nick, good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We thank Nick Gates for joining us, and we also thank Shane Lemieux and Will Hernandez on the Giants Huddle podcast, which you can find at giants.com/podcast, the Giants mobile app, and on your favorite podcast platforms. Find and subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star positive review. It helps the podcast and makes it easier for other people to find when they search for podcasts. For Will, for Shane, for Nick, I am John Schmelk. We'll see you next time on the Giants Huddle.